Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business News Afternoon Report for Wednesday, the 7th of August, 2024. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 closed up 0.3% to 7,700 points, having started the day lower. 9 of the 11 sectors on the benchmark ended higher, led by the real estate investment trusts. The 2 sectors that ended lower were the 2 biggest, financials and materials. The banks were mixed, with Commonwealth Bank and ANZ higher, while National Australia Bank and ANZ were lower. CSL had a good day, rising nearly 1%, as did Telstra, which jumped 1.2%. Woodside closed up 1.5%. It wasn't so good for the big 3 miners, as iron ore prices fell. Fortescue Metals Group and Rio both closed down 1%, while BHP was off more than 0.5%. A notable poor performer was James Hardie, which dropped more than 2%, paring back gains made in recent sessions. In corporate news, Neuren Pharmaceuticals put itself into a trading halt today, ahead of downgrading its earnings outlook on the back of weaker sales from American partner Arcadia. Neuren's share price is off more than 30% this year, having more than doubled in the final 6 weeks of 2023. Story number 2, Japan continues to be the most interesting financial market in the region. Today, its central bank, the Bank of Japan, said it won't raise its policy interest rate while financial and capital markets are unstable. That sent the Nikkei higher and the yen higher. The Nikkei is now trading around the level it was at the beginning of the week, having at one point dropped as much as 13%. Otherwise, things are, I suppose, volatile is the best word to use. That's for equity markets at least, but they're not quite as jumpy as they were earlier in the week. Oil prices are trending higher and gold is trending lower. The Aussie dollar is up about 0.5% against the greenback to 65.5 US cents. And cryptos are off their lows, with Bitcoin back to almost 57,000 US dollars a unit. Story number 3, Australia has issued travel advisory notices warning tourists of the risk to their safety from anti-immigration protests and riots in the United Kingdom. After last weekend's violence in the country, in which rioters attacked hotels used to house asylum seekers, Australia updated its travel warnings to the UK. It now says avoid areas where protests are occurring due to the potential for disruption and violence. The United Arab Emirates, Nigeria, Malaysia and Indonesia have also told their citizens to be on high alert. The violence has affected towns and city centres across the country, including tourist destinations like Manchester and Liverpool. The Australian government has also changed its travel advice to Bangladesh to do not travel, with the Foreign Ministry saying the situation is volatile. It comes as the President of Bangladesh dissolved the country's parliament following an ultimatum issued by student protests, which forced the resignation of the Prime Minister on Monday. Story number 4, workers in Rogue Rams financial franchises paid and took illicit kickbacks and faked tax returns and company statements in the years leading up to their termination. Westpac alleges in response to a class action threat hanging over the bank. Westpac said it would effectively shut down the 33-year-old Rams brand this week amid an Australian Securities and Investments Commission probe into the business covering the conduct of franchisees that have since taken the bank to court. Now, the 16 franchisees alleged the bank improperly terminated their licenses. However, in documents filed to the federal court and obtained by the Australian Financial Review, Westpac said it found evidence of widespread misconduct. Away from the court case, Rams will no longer accept new customers, while existing ones can still access services through its app, website or call centres. The $31.8 billion loan book will be absorbed into Westpac's mortgage portfolio. And story number 5, Kamala Harris overnight introduced Tim Walz, her running mate in the race for the White House, saying the Minnesota governor was a champion of dearly held freedoms that Donald Trump was plotting to take away. Her comments in front of thousands of cheering supporters in Philadelphia came after polls show the vice president moving slightly ahead of her Republican rival in some national and crucial battleground state polling averages. Harris selected Walz, a former football coach and National Guardsman, over the governor of Pennsylvania and an Arizona senator. Walz is a mainstream Democrat from the Midwest who appeals to both the progressive and moderate wings of the party. He was immediately attacked by Donald Trump and Republicans as a radical leftist. Harris and Walz are now pitching themselves as defenders of personal freedoms, including abortion rights and safety from gun violence, according to the Financial Times. That's it for the afternoon report for Wednesday, the 7th of August, 2024. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Instagram, X, TikTok and Facebook. Join Michael Thompson and I tomorrow morning for the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed, the top 5 business stories you need to know just 5 minutes. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.